This is the airBaltic Operations Control Center, or as we call it, the OCC. This office is the heart of the daily operations of airBaltic. These people control and oversee all operational activity of the airline 24 hours a day, with the goal being safe and punctual flight operations at a minimum possible cost. Each of the members of the OCC specializes in their own specific fields of expertise: flight planning, operational control, crew planning, and ground handling. Together, they make a team of professionals with broad knowledge and significant experience in aviation, every position working in concert with the next one, creating one big conductor for the orchestra that is daily operations of the airline. Now, it is time to meet them. Everything starts with a man known to most as the captain on the ground, the flight dispatcher. A flight dispatcher is the Garry Kasparov of the daily operations, which are like a never-ending game of chess against a cunning and relentless opponent whose chess pieces are challenges, ranging from bad weather and technical difficulties to ground handling strikes and lack of fuel in outstations. A flight dispatcher has to think at least 5 steps ahead before making his next move, because unlike the real game of chess, in everyday operations there is no margin for error. It means that a flight dispatcher has to be a part meteorologist, part aircraft technician, part air traffic control dispatcher, and part financial expert to prepare a flight plan with the precision of a heart surgeon. In order to do that, he has to know flight operations like the back of his hand. However, behind every great flight dispatcher there is a great flight dispatch support specialist. Paperwork that serves as the basis for a flight plan, such as overflight and landing permits that have to be negotiated with the aviation authorities of certain countries, is being prepared and coordinated here, which makes them sort of the ambassadors of the OCC and the quality control of the flight dispatcher team. Ground operations coordinator just might be a passenger's best friend. Responsible for the well-being of a passenger, ground operations make sure everyone reaches their destination on time. Let's illustrate this with a real-life example. Imagine that you just left Milan on the way to an important business meeting in Finland. Your flight got severely delayed due to thick fog, and by the time you get a bad feeling that you might not make your connecting flight in Riga, chances are ground operations have already made sure that you do. The work of the ground operations coordinator ensures that cases like this result in inconveniences as rarely as possible. Meet the Ops Control, also known as the Flight Operations Coordinator. Flight and Weather Watch is being maintained by Flight Operations Coordinators at all times. These guys always know the status of their aircraft and are ready to provide any operational support when needed. Flight Operations Coordinators are a prime example of human multitasking. There's always more than one issue to solve. To properly examine the details of his work, we need to watch him in slow motion. De-icing and refueling problems, short-term aircraft rescheduling, and almost every other operational problem both in Riga and outstations is being solved here. Considering that all of these matters are top priority, they are usually being handled simultaneously. Watching the Ops Control at work leaves an impression that even blinking is a huge waste of time they cannot afford. The Operations Duty Officer is the head problem solver, the King Midas of the daily operations. He has a way of turning even the most hopeless situations into a success. Every major decision that might affect the operations goes through this man, which is the main reason his office hours are 24/7. To say that the duty officer is a walking aviation encyclopedia would be an understatement. This man holds enough aviation-related information to put Google to shame. The last but not least is the crew dispatcher. When a flight attendant gets stuck in traffic on the way to the airport, or a pilot finds himself being held up by fog and can't make his next flight, this man makes sure it doesn't affect your journey, even if it means dragging replacement crew members out of their cozy beds at 4 a.m. But at the end of the day, the crew dispatcher is still the trustworthy go-to person for all flight and cabin crew members. Life in the OCC is full of exciting challenges. A lot like the box of chocolates in the story of Forrest Gump. You never know what to expect. It certainly makes the work more challenging, but it's also what makes it so fascinating.
Teamwork, good knowledge, quick reaction, calm mind. Once you have it, nothing can go wrong.
There's nothing like the feeling you get at the end of yet another successful day at the office, when you know that it couldn't have been possible without your input. This is what makes the Office of the Aviation Heroes running. This is the OCC.